Greetings, fellow YouTubians. I am Tarrker the Newts, and welcome to episode 18 of Tarrker Talks. I never thought I'd be doing this for so long. I figured people would hate seeing me talk. I mean, I have these terrible fucking teeth, and some of my opinions are pretty shitty too, so I figured nobody would want to listen to me talk, but apparently that's all anybody can ask me about is what I'm going to talk about next, and what I'm going to do, and where I'm going to do it, and will you go outside? I want to see you outside. Anyway, you guys are great. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving me the cool words. I really appreciate you. Keep this happening. Just remember that when I say something you don't like, because you're the one keeping this happening. Anyway, so it's been a while since I've uploaded. About 3 weeks ago, I uploaded some stuff for the Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator. So it's been almost 3 months, or it's been almost, did I say months? 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks since my last upload, which is almost a month. And it's been, here, hang on, I'm on my channel here. Oh yeah, it's been 2 months since the last episode of Tarrker Talk. So I figured I ought to just do something. I'm doing fine. It's just my life has been so busy recently. You might be hearing it right now. We're using pure electric heaters. It's been 14-degree weather. And we're using pure electric heaters that just kind of sit on the ground because our fucking furnace is backfeeding and we were getting carbon monoxide poisoning. We didn't realize it, you know? You just sit in the air and you don't think about it. And then you walk back in and it's like, do you smell that? That smells kind of funny, you know? And we're getting sick and throwing up and the cat almost fucking died. We're stupid. We're dumb like that. But we didn't know, you know? We didn't realize until the furnace started going and we were like, oh shit, you know? And but at least now we know. That's good, right? So just shit's happening. Shit's fucking happening, let me tell you. And it just, life happens. Anyway, I'm trying not to think about that. That's half the reason I do this shit. So today, you can see my shirt, so chances are I'm talking about Asian culture. Well, what are you talking about today, Tarrker? The film Akira. Anime fans, gird your loins, because I'm talking about the film Akira. The film that came out when I was 8 years old. It came out in 1988, and it took the world by storm. It blew everyone away, and oh boy. At the time, it was somewhat unique. It was this amazing piece of artwork. But now watching it, it's like, honestly, is it really that good a film? Is it really? Come on, be honest, guys. It's really not that great a film, is it? Like, what do you love about Akira? Come on. Anytime I ask somebody, what do you know, people, I always tell, like, oh, you're an anime fan, you know, it's like, and then we start talking about Akira, and I'm just like, oh, that film was bad, you know, and they're like, like I said, Hitler was right or some shit, you know, like, just, like, what? Like, if you're at all objective, you've got to see this shit. Like, come on. Akira was a brilliant piece of animation work. The animation was amazing. Even today, it still blows modern shit out of the water with its animation. And the cinematography, my God. Those scenes, like when somebody says cinematography, they're talking about the way the scene is shot. Like right now, I have my camera on my desk looking up at me, and that kind of presents a more emotional feeling, like I'm above you, I'm talking down at you, I have the power, right? But if I kind of go like this, hey guys, how's it going? This is my Twitter, you know, what are you doing? How about Vines? Where did Vines go? Hi there, puppy, where's my puppy dog? Oh, he ran away. Okay. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? This creates a different feeling when you're watching than, say, this. You know? I wanted to get my wife's paintings that I'm very proud of her for painting. But anyway, that's cinematography. That's what we mean when we say cinematography, is how it's shot, the colors used, the lighting, various things like that, the way they fade, the way they fade from one scene to another, how it's done. And there are clever ways of doing that, and certain ways are better than others for certain mediums. Well, Akira blows all that shit out of the water. Like, everything they do is just right on. I'm not an expert when it comes to that. Like, I am not a filmmaker. in the wildest imagination, maybe I am, because I know some stuff, but I've never done it. I haven't studied it, but you know, I see Akira, and I know that shit is fucking excellent, and I'm sure some film school expert could break it down and tell you why. All I know is it's good. The animation, however, animation is something I know a great deal about, and I have even done myself, and the animation is fantastic. My God, the amount of man hours they must have put into that, I just can't even imagine. And they have so many clever, simple techniques for illustrating things like speed, direction while moving, with like 3 little lines or something and like 2 frames of animation. You know, they can make it look like a road is zipping by or something like that. Like, seriously, watch it sometime. Watch those bike scenes and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's brilliant. Just like this mug. This mug is really old. My mom got this for me. It's pretty cool. Star Trek. Yeah, it's backwards, but, you know, it's original series. Anyway, so... But all of that just makes it so much more infuriating when the rest of the film is just like, duh. Like, oh my God. What's the story arc in Akira? How do our characters grow by the end of the film? Kaneda becomes slightly more competent, I suppose. He's trying to destroy Akira. For some reason, he's trying to kill this guy. I don't know why. Personally, if I was them, I'd take that fucking bike and drive as fast as I could out of the city in the opposite fucking direction as fast as I could go. But, you know, that's just me. But then I did grow up on the mountain, so I'm more of a mountain man myself anyway. People from the city, I understand what it's like when you grow up living, you know, a short walk away from a convenience store. You don't learn to become self-reliant in certain areas, but, you know, I get it. Anyway, yeah, so there's no narrative. What's there is garbage. Actually, let me back up a little bit. There is some excellent world building. There's actually some really good world building in there. Really good stuff. They throw little tidbits in there, and it's just like with what I talked about with the cinematography. The way they sort of ease it in there so that you don't really even notice it's happening is brilliant. That is actually done. That's another thing the film does really well. Whoever was working on that, like when you're thinking about things that don't exist in our world, like I can never think of examples. Like, I try to talk about this stuff, and I know what I'm talking about, and I know why I'm saying what I'm saying, and I know that people I'm talking to will agree with me if I can give the proper example. But then I can't think of the fucking example. So, like, okay, let's think. Just, I don't even know. Just, we're talking about like sci-fi equipment and things like that, mechs or like space age bikes. But actually, you know what? Come to think of it, the bikes are a great example. They're these crazy futuristic bikes, right? Despite looking distinctly 80s, like they straight up look like the light cycles from Tron. But they're very advanced, almost space age technology, but in a bike, and that's great. You know what they don't do? They don't sit there like, oh, this bike can get such and so. Isn't this bike great? Oh, this bike is great. This is the bike that beat the infamous so and such and such. It's all show. It's all show. There's a little bit of tell. I remember at the beginning the guys are standing around, but even that scene where they're standing around talking about what the bike can do, that whole scene has a whole other purpose of them just being a couple of dude bros. You know, it's showing Rather than telling, it's showing you that these dudes are obsessed with the bikes. They aren't just crazy gangsters. They know their machinery and they love these bikes. That's important. That's good world building. But then what do they do with it? They don't do shit with it. They don't do shit. It's one scene. You know, that's everything in this film. Everything. They have these great world building, and you're like, oh, cool. I wonder what's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen with it. It's going to be one scene later on, maybe. Even the bike thing. The bike thing is the closest thing to, which is ironic, it's the closest thing to a story arc that the film even has. Akira wanted Kaneda's bike, and now that he's like this weird mutant thing, he still wants the bike, I guess. I think. I don't know. At one point, Kaneda says that. It's like, oh, he wants the bike. And that's it. That's it. That's all we get. It's just, oh, God. And there's all this weird shit happening. There's like a billion scenes in the film. It's like, why are we seeing this? I mean, this is awesome. This is amazing. I love what I'm seeing, but why am I seeing it? I don't know. Why am I watching a tank shoot at Akira and have him stop the shell? I guess to show us how powerful he is. Okay, for that matter, why am I watching a dude cut through a dude's shoulder with a laser? Why am I watching a bridge collapse? Why do I give a shit that this weird hairy old dude is having a heart attack and can't get his pills out? I mean, it's super ironic. And so from an artistic standpoint, it makes a hell of a statement. You know, he's got all these bonds, and as he's dying, the bonds hit the ground and fall out and sort of blowing away gently. And it's like, it's the juxtaposition between him being this ultimate powerhouse with lots of money, but it means nothing because he's just dead, you know? Like, but that scene serves no purpose outside of just being an artistic statement. Like, who cares? Like, that guy had no relevance to our characters. He has no relevance to Kaneda that I know of. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Oh, God. Maybe I'll edit that. Don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of losing my voice. It's an allergy thing. It's this time of year. It's probably mostly from the huffing furnace fumes for like 3 weeks. I wanted to do this all in one take. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll edit that out. It requires copying files to another computer. But, anyway, yeah. So, that's my point. It's just, there's no narrative. Even the art, I was not a big fan of the art. Like, I have an Akira poster, and that picture of him standing in front of the bike, and the bike's up front, and the ruined city in the background, it just says Akira in English and in Japanese, and the words are kind of like in the same font, or I guess they're integrated to each other. I can't really remember, but it was kind of cool what they did. It was very artistic and striking. That was beautiful. And I've seen a few ones where it's like the machinery that the scene designers made, and I used to do that, so I know what that's like. You just intricacy is your special effects, basically. The more intricate, the more realistic people tend to think it is, because that's just human nature. It's how we see things. But some of that was gorgeous, beautiful. I loved seeing that. But then you see these other still images, some clips, captures from the film, and it's just like, that's kind of ugly, actually. It didn't, I don't know. Maybe it's just that I don't like I legit hate urban environments. I really do. I hate the city. But, what was I going to say? Yeah, despite the animation being excellent, I really didn't like the artwork that much. But it could just be my preference to a non-urban environment. One thing I definitely think was not great in that film was the music. And it's funny because a lot of people say that they thought the music was great. And it's like, I mean, it sets the atmosphere. Some of those tracks were kind of brilliant, especially that one at the beginning. The one they used for the city, where they use, I think it's wooden blocks or perhaps bamboo. Some kind of block thing that they're smacking. And it's brilliant because it's the sort of thing that will never go out of style. You know, it's ancient, so it sets the culture in that Eastern culture, but at the same time, you know, it's something that'll never go out of style, so it's something we could conceivably see being a future thing, if what I'm saying makes any sense at all to anyone besides myself. However, there's other music that's like, what were they even thinking? And it reminds me of some modern trends, too. Modern trends. So Akira is modern, but wait. Where am I going? I'm losing track here. My brain is getting away from me while I talk. It happens every time. I got to get back to the music. Akira's music. Ah, yes. I know that you all know exactly what I'm talking about. The part where it's all dawn, 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 dawn. You know, it just, what is going on right now? It's very, like, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to match the art style, the visual art style with the audio art style. And it's a noble effort, but that does not work. Because what you're seeing, you know, visually, you can take like a single silhouette of a man, say, and put him in a pure glowing white background, or have that explosion. You know what I mean? Like the nuclear explosion, where it's like you see like the two frames of the mushroom cloud, and then everything's just white, and it's striking. You know, it's visually striking. You can't really do that with music. I mean, you can. There's ways of doing it. I'm not a musician, so it's hard for me to say. But I know, all I can say is that I know dawn, dawn, dawn was not the fucking way to do that shit. That's what I know. It's like, it's just immediate loss of immersion. Immediately, I know I'm watching some film. And immediately I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? It reminds me of some stuff that happened in American films much later on. Like, remember when The Matrix did slow motion and everybody was doing fucking slow motion? It always made the same fucking sound too, didn't it? It was always that pew, and then the camera would turn around or whatever. It's like, why the fuck are you doing this? It was striking as fuck when Matrix did it in 2001. It was super striking, and it helped build that world. It helped tell the story. It made the character's journey exciting. But in this film, it does nothing except remind me of the fucking Matrix. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would any... Like, that is one way you know that you're dealing with a bad storyteller, is when they're like, hey, I can't think of what to do here, so I'm just going to remind you of another fucking story that's way better. Nobody wants to do that. That's like the greatest nightmare of any good storyteller, is that you're going to accidentally remind them of another story that they think is better. You know what I mean? Like, you may, like... I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let me back up a little bit. So, even if you're a good storyteller, you know you're a good storyteller, but, you know, that doesn't mean you're a legendary storyteller. You're not fucking George R.R. Martin. That's how I feel. You know, I'm a good storyteller. I've been a DM all my life. I've been writing. I've written my own stuff. I've helped write mangas. I've worked on video games. I'm a decent writer. I'm a good writer. I have terrible grammar. I definitely need editing help, but I'm a decent storyteller. I am no J.R.R. Tolkien. I am no George R.R. Martin. I am none of the R.R. people. I'm not going to make the next bestseller, but, you know, if you come to my D&D group, you'll probably have a pretty good time, you know? I can at least claim that. That's the thing. Where the fuck was I even going with this? Right. The last thing I want to do while I'm telling a story is remind you of the Lord of the Rings. Like, just straight up. Like, remind you of a story epic that is way better than the story I'm trying to tell you right now. I mean, Lord of the Rings is like a World War II metaphor set in an epic fantasy lore-filled world with ancient histories and gods fighting each other. The last thing I want to do is remind you of that way more exciting shit when I'm trying to recreate, you know, the telling of the shrew. What was it? The fucking Shakespeare one? The something of the shrew, but I'm trying to recreate the shrew thing, but in Dungeons and Dragons. You know, it's just, you know, I'm doing something far less epic. I don't want to remind you of that shit, but that's my point. I went on this huge tangent. Oh my god, I waste so much time when I just am going off at the handle. But that was my point. You know, is that's exactly what Akira does, though, or no. Oh, the other films. Oh my god, I am so off track. Anyway, one of the big things the Akira music, the dun dun thing, reminds me of is Inception. That's it. That fucking film about the dreams that had Leonardo DiCaprio and the thing about the fucking tops. You remember when that happened and they had that music that was just like something dramatic was going on screen, and there would be no sound. It would just go bwah, bwah. It's like, what the fuck? Who thought that was a good idea? Like, that is just like, oh my god, that in my, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it affects other people in a different way than it does me, but for me, it just took me right out of it. It was just like, what the fuck is going on right now? You know, if your story is suspenseful and exciting, it's gonna be suspenseful and exciting. People are gonna be anxious for what happens next, and they're gonna be excited to find out what happens next. Like, even if you play fucking clown music, it's still going to be suspenseful and exciting. You don't, you know, if you have a story that's suspenseful and exciting, you don't need to make it suspenseful and exciting by going blah, you know? Again, it's just bad storytelling. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being crazy. I'm weird. Oh, guys. Oh, woe is me. Life, pithy brie. Would you guys believe I actually got my start in like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, doing Shakespeare in the Park kind of stuff? Like, I'm not even joking. Back in the day, my family are nudists. Like, we grow up, the kids don't wear clothes, probably ever. Kids are just naturally nudists, and in our family, you know, most families, they'd be like, no, put pants on. In our family, we just kind of let them do that, whatever. Which, another thing that extends to, that a lot of people are surprised when they see it, that nobody ever talks about, but I'm going to talk about now, is also using nature as a bathroom, basically. You know, it's like, you gotta take a piss, just go behind the bush there. You gotta take a shit, just make sure you dig a deep enough hole, you know, just make sure you wipe yourself, clean yourself up. Don't, you know, we tried to discourage the kids from doing that for obvious reasons, but, you know, that's something that surprises people. It's like, oh, he's peeing, oh no, like, yeah, why wouldn't you? Like, what the fuck? It's like, that's unladylike. Really? She's gotta pee. It's unladylike to do a thing that all ladies have to do regularly? Like, what? I don't know. Anyway, I'm on a tangent here with this shit. Why did I even bring this up? I don't remember. So, I totally went on this ridiculous tangent about shitting in the woods and how Baptist Christian moms hate that. So I completely forgot why I went on the whole nudist tangent in the first place. Shakespeare in the Park, I got my start doing with dramatic storytelling and group storytelling by doing dramatic recreations all off the cuff of Shakespeare. Just right off the cuff. It wasn't like we didn't really have props. We really didn't have props. In fact, that was the point. That was the point of the whole nudist thing. Was my parents, when we first came to this area, started going to these nudist places because, it was like, hey, there's a nudist place. This is probably the only place in this entire fucking Bible-y area that will be okay with our family just being our family. Actually, it was funny because the locals pretty much used those nudist places as a hookup spot, and we ended up just meeting lots of perverts. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, as a kid, a lot of these places tried to be kid friendly. There was, parks, and there was like activities so the adults could do stuff while the kids were being activityed at an activity. And we used to do Shakespeare, and since everybody was naked, like it was a very Shakespeare in the Park kind of thing. Like we didn't have props and a set. Like we had to sell it with ourselves, and that's cool, that kind of brings out the storytelling. It forces you to lean on things like accents and it forces you to lean on like heavy accents and speaking loud versus speaking soft, and having a lighter voice versus a harder voice, and that is what the difference of a medium does to your storytelling, and that's the first time. It's hard for people to recognize the way that mediums sometimes change storytelling, but by doing activities like this, it kind of forces you to see it. And I don't want to discount anybody or call anyone stupid. You know what I mean? Like as sweary as I am and as forceful as I am, I really do wish everyone the best. But I do have a feeling a lot of anime artists and writers at the time when Akira was made, 1988, I think it was very commonplace for this, what do you even call that? Is that dissonance? Is that narrative dissonance? I don't fucking know. But the way that the medium changes the way that you tell the story is something that a lot of people in anime at that time in that area of the world didn't know a lot about, if you follow me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think a lot of anime artists and writers at the time in Japan were really super aware of telling the story with the medium, which sounds absurd because that's almost exclusively what anime does. A manga as well. The story is told very holistically with the medium almost. But I think that was a part of what happened with Akira, and you can see it because, like, earlier I was talking about the world building, and like the guys standing around the bike, and that tells the story about how they're not just dumb gangsters; they also love bikes, and it's world building, and so you can see, like, okay, they know how to do that. Like, obviously, these guys were skilled manga artists at some point, but when it comes to like picking the music, it's almost like what goes into making a music video. If you've ever watched anime music videos, what we call AMVs, you'll know, like, you'll see a lot of them. Like, the vast majority of music videos are just random footage with music going on in the background. But a great music video will have every motion in the video match the music sometime. Like, you've got a boom, bop, bop, if people are fighting, it matches the beat. If people are talking, their mouths match what's being said in the song, and it just it punches. It has a visible punch that you can see as well as hear, and that's what you need when it comes to matching music with a visual medium. And it's the same kind of that you guys get what I'm saying. I'm really very bad at summarizing this. All I'm good at doing is just I have these thoughts in my head and I just but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say here. Going back to Akira, it just, you get to the point in the movie where something stark is going on in the foreground, and you're seeing this, and it's all white, or there's a lone character silhouetted with like a stark background, and you know, it's like with music like that, you're expecting like a sweeping orchestra, or you know, maybe just a lone instrument for that extra lonely feeling. But nope. What does Akira do? Well, oh, sorry. Akira's dawn, dawn, dawn. It goes back to what I was saying. You know, it's a little stark and striking. I mean, hey, I could be completely wrong. You know, maybe I'm just a fucking moron, and you know, on the extra special director's cut exclusive edition, they specifically say in their native Japanese that's exactly what they were trying to do with that specific scene, is try to take you out of it and force you to think about bombs going off or something. I don't fucking know. But me having seen the film again later on, that's all I get out of it. That's all I get, is it's got no narrative. I don't care about these characters at all. There's just shit going on randomly. What I'm seeing looks great, but I have no clue why I'm seeing it half the time anyway. Other times it's kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. This is related to the other shit, but then that's it. And then later on, you're like, oh, this is related to that other shit. And then some completely inconsequential bullshit happens, like weird visions of fucking living toys that bleed milk appear. You know, why? Okay, I get it. He's going insane, I suppose. Like, what? You guys already know what I'm saying. I'm just repeating myself at this point. But it just I don't know. You see anime fans, they're just throwing compliments at Akira, saying it's the best this, it's the best that. Oh, it's one of the greatest films of our time. You know, you got to see this film. It's a must-see for all fans of the genre. Yeah, guys, I don't know about that. I was a fan of it. I'm not gonna lie. As much as I bashed the film, I did enjoy seeing it. I'm glad I watched it. I will watch it again. But I'm an artist. I enjoy the art solely for the art's sake. I love watching those scenes where they cut and seeing what they do and watching the movement and the great animation. I'm into that. You know, I'm into that shit. The average film goer isn't. And that's the thing, you know, a lot of that's the thing. You know, you'll see this with video games, with, you know, board games, Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. Any serious fans of any genre, you'll see this, where it's like you're either this super elite, super duper ultra fan of everything, or you're not a fan. And that, I think that's really what's going on here, honestly. I think the ultra super duper fans, people who are actually interested in the art for its own sake, like me, are gonna enjoy Akira, whereas like your average watcher, my wife is a great example. My wife loves anime. She loves anime, but she's, you know, particular. She's an average moviegoer. She just wants to be entertained. She wants the sad parts to make her cry, the feel good parts to make her feel good, and she wants to get angry at the villain, you know. And it just, you know, Akira is not that film. It's not. And yeah, so I don't know. That's Akira, guys. I don't know what to say about it. I felt like saying this. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. I know this video has gone on really long. It's got to be almost half an hour by now. So, I mean, hey, thanks for watching this far if you watched. I can't believe people actually watch me just like shout at a camera for half an hour. It's hard to believe. You probably don't watch the whole half an hour. You probably shut it off at some point. But no, that's just something I've been thinking about for a while. I've been getting back into doing AMV, mostly because it's a dying art. Guys, seriously, if you have any video editing skills and you can find some royalty-free music that's worth listening to, make animated music videos, because it's dying out. We need more. The industry came so very close to realizing that this was a transformative art form, but if it goes away, so does that. So we need more AMVs. Anyway, I'm making more AMVs. So I've been thinking about Akira. I've been talking about Akira to other people in the community, and just anytime I talk about Akira to people in the community, it's weird because it's like they know I'm this like super ancient anime fan. Well, compared to most people these days, you know, I'm a 41-year-old anime fan who has done anime art, and like they're like, oh man, that's cool, and then we start to talk about like Akira. Somehow we always end up talking about fucking Akira and what's the other one? Oh yeah, Miyazaki stuff. Yeah, Akira or Miyazaki stuff. Like you always end up talking about that. But yeah, I love Miyazaki. But then it's like we talk about Akira and it's like, oh god, that film sucked. And they're like, what? What? Oh, I thought you were an old school fan. Like you're lying. There's no way. It's like, what was good about that film? The animation? Yeah, I mean, it was a great animated film. But that's it. Just, and they keep saying shit like, oh, it had the greatest story. I love the story. You know, it was told this great story about the end of the world and shit. And it's like, oh, the music. And like, did we watch the same film? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What story? The story about, like, the anti-hero and his desperate need to kill his best friend where he turns into a mutant? Like, what? I don't know. I guess if you step back and take a look at Akira and think about what the story was about, it was kind of about that whole city. It was a story about Neo Tokyo as a whole, and it just kind of fizzled out at the end. Almost like they weren't sure how to end it. Like they were telling like 30 different stories all at once, and they were like, oh fuck, how do we end this shit? Something explodes, yeah. Now I really am just rambling. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been another episode of Tarrker Talks. I promise I'll upload more frequently now. Kinda. I do have some stuff planned, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in my next video.